bride, the Lamb's wife. Part 3. I got cut off again. Sorry. So, the dead are raised on the first day of the 7th moon, Yom Teruah, the day of the shout. When we are redeemed, we will be clothed and immortal, caught away. In the above text is the same Greek word used at Acts chapter 8, verse 39, harpazo. Strong's G726, to seize, Latin raptus, as in seizing property, enabled by the Spirit of Yahusha. Philip was teleported to another location instantly, as together we will also at the coming of the Master. For a clearer understanding, let's pretend that modern feminism never happened, and we are thinking like a person who lived long ago to be Yahusha's property, his bride. We must examine how Scripture identifies those who live within the bonds of the covenant of marriage to him. Every denomination on earth sincerely believes they are the bride of the Mashiach, ahead of all others. While Yahusha is away to receive his kingdom and prepare a place for his bride, those who await his return are partly wise and partly foolish. At Matthew chapter 25, verses 1 through 13, the 10 maidens seem to correspond to the 10 lost tribes of Yashriel. Some have wisdom and have prepared themselves more than others. The oil that is discussed surely represents the guidance of Yahusha's Spirit, helping make the wise maidens aware of what is needed to prepare themselves for the abrupt arrival of the bridegroom. Indeed, the wedding feast is an exclusive affair. Yahuwah says, "We will obey in the latter days while among the Gentiles. In your distress, great tribulation, when all these words shall come upon you in the latter days, then you shall return to Yahuwah your Elohim and shall obey his voice." Deuteronomy chapter 4, verse 30. Read the full context of the text being quoted in this study. "And it shall be, when all these words shall come upon you, the blessing and the curse which I have set before you, and you shall bring them back to your heart among all the Gentiles, where Yahuwah your Elohim drives you. And you shall turn back to Yahuwah your Elohim, and obey his voice, according to all that I commanded you today, with all your heart and with all your being, and with all your being, you and your children. Then Yahuwah your Elohim shall turn back your captivity, and shall have compassion on you. And he shall turn back and gather you from all the people, where Yahuwah your Elohim has scattered you. If any of you are driven out of the farthest parts under the heavens, from there Yahuwah your Elohim does gather you, and from there he does take you." Ezekiel chapter 39, verse 28 and 29. "And they shall know that I am Yahuwah their Elohim, who sent them into exile among the Gentiles, and then gathered them back to their own land, and left none of them behind. And no longer do I hide my face from them, for I shall have poured my spirit on the house of Israel, declares the Master Yahuwah. The one doing this is Yahusha, the bridegroom. Our captivity will end. The bride represents the children of Israel. Therefore, see, the days are coming, declares Yahuwah, when it is no longer said, Yahuwah lives who brought up the children of Israel from the land of Mitzrayim, but Yahuwah lives who brought up the children of Yisrael from the land of the north and from all the lands where he had driven them. For I shall bring them back into their land, and I gave to their fathers. See, I am sending for many fishermen, declares Yahuwah, and they shall fish them. And after that I shall send for many hunters, and they shall hunt them from every mountain and every hill, and out of every holes of the rocks. Jeremiah chapter 16, 14 through 16. The bride will be restored to the covenant in the day of distress, the great tribulation, and realize her religious filth. O Yahuwah, my strength and my strongholds and my refuge, in the days of distress, the Gentiles shall come to you from the ends of the earth and say, Our fathers have inherited only falsehood, futility, and there is no value in them. Jeremiah chapter 16, verses 19. False terms like God and Lord will cease. Now notice Psalms chapter 80. Psalms 80, Verse 14 through 19, sorry. Return, we beg you, O Elohim of hosts. Look down from heaven and see, and visit this vine, and the stock which your right hand has planted, and the son whom you made strong for yourself. It is burned with fire. It is cut down. They perish at the rebuke of your face. Let your hand be upon the one of your right hand, upon the son of Adam, whom you made strong for yourself. We shall not backslide from you. Revive us, and let us call upon your name. Turn us back, O Yahuwah Elohim of hosts, and cause your face to shine, that we might be saved. The bride will know her husband and take his name on her lips. The bride has always been Israel, into which Gentiles must engraft. Ephesians chapter 3 and Romans chapter 11. Blind to our mortality. From Yahusha's point of view, we are all sinking into oblivion, and the grave will consume us without his intervention. Our wanton dependence upon him, every instant pushed aside into our daily lives. But Kepha, Peter, experienced how fragile his life was for a few fleeting moments. Beyond the surface of this miracle lies the stark reality of our dependence, and that our susceptibility to death is overcome by belief in the authority of a single person that has the power and will to rescue us. Master, save me. Matthew chapter 14, verse 30. Gentiles engraft into Israel by entering into the same covenant at the point of their immersion. There is only one flock, and that flock is Israel. Gentiles must engraft. The end. So, there is only one flock, Israel. If you're not Israel, you need to engraft. That means follow the feast days, follow the Sabbath days, enter into covenant with Father Yahuwah, Elohim. Leviticus 23 feast days, following the commandments, getting out of pagan man-made traditions, no Christmas, no Easter, none of that. And follow the instructions, the Torah, with love. Humble yourself and engraft into Israel. May Yahuwah Elohim Baruch all of you in the name of Yahusha according to his will. Shalom, everybody. The bride.